everybody, and welcome back to the AQWFresh series, where I basically play as a free player, a kind of grasp of a game as if I was playing for the first time. Although I'm not a new player, I don't know, I keep on saying that. I've been playing this game since 2008, but there were some changes that I'm very happy about, like songs and some relatively easy things that made my experience more enjoyable compared to a couple of years ago. So for this week, I pretty much focus on reps and some enhancements and some weapons. Now, and also classes. Now, when it comes to the reps, I did everything on Monday and Tuesday. Monday, I pretty much focused on trying to get all the reps done in one day, although it was not really little reps, but took me less time than expected. I thought it was going to be like 2 days at least, but it took me 1 day. Then I focused on farming the ice diamonds. Now, I tried to farm the ice diamonds when I ran out of my rep, because I didn't want to waste rep while farming ice diamonds, because ice diamonds is another quest upon a quest, so kind of a waste if you farm under your rep if you're not going to be turning it rep in. Now, when it comes to reps, I didn't really struggle much. It was a lot of back and forth compared to the other reps that I did. The other reps were pretty much just one kill shots and killing the bosses. Some of them were tanky, some of them weren't. Some of them had RNG based, but it was just mostly just sitting in one spot farming. Although this week was kind of the same, where I kind of like sit in one spot to farm, but this week was more clicky. You click a lot, try to farm, and pretty much just try to get everything done as fast as possible. Now, I did do two reps in one, the Samia and EU mountains, although when it comes to EU mountains, there's no real efficient way to rank up unless you had a party winner release. Right now, everything's just very low rep, so I'm gonna wait for it to have a proper farming method in the sense of for a class or a armor piece or something I really like on this account. But for now, it's kind of a waste of doing a farm for 6 hours, and it will be longer because no one's farming the Night Wyvern anymore. I did dread doing the 2 reps, which was the Death Pit Brawl and the Elemental Master. Elemental Master was really a lot of walking, which I didn't want to do. And it was Death Pit was also another one that was kind of annoying because there was no real way to rep up unless you had to complete the entire map. Each time you complete the map is like roughly 30 seconds to almost a minute, depending if you're lucky or not. Now, after I did the reps, I did the Legion tokens. I did the Legion tokens in a sense of getting the weapons, boosted weapons, done. Because if I did just do the dailies for the upcoming weeks, I will get to the point that put me in a spot where I kind of had to farm for Legion tokens. So I kind of suck it up and just do the Legion tokens while the boost was active. So I did that the next day, so it was Tuesday. Then after Tuesday, I did the Doom Metro Necro class because I didn't have anything else to do other than just pretty much farming for other random stuff. After I did the Legion tokens, I pretty much finished all the reps. There's no other reps for me to do, so I just pretty much focus on other stuff. So I was dreading towards trying to do Doom Metal Necro because there was some parts that I needed that I was lacking. So I had to kind of sell my hollow remains because I ran out of gold. I needed 35 million gold for Doom Metal Necro because I soon came to a realization that I needed to do Grid's quests inside Stonewood, sorry. Yeah, so I realized I didn't do that. I didn't know that quest existed. It was just one of those quests that it's just there. I didn't know about the Vortex armor, honestly. It's the quest from the Vortex armor is one of those quests that requires you need to do it, but not a lot of farms require it, so it slips under your rug. So you kind of get ignored in a way. Kind of just something you can easily ignore, easily forget. Now, I didn't struggle farming for the quest, although I was dreading it because there was a lot of RNG when it comes to this quest. Although when it comes to farming stuff, the bosses are relatively low health. There's not much to the bosses that require you to farm it. Some of them were spongy, some of them had low RNG, some of them had high RNG. But luckily, I spent almost 6 hours trying to do this. Yes, I was also surprised that it took me this long because I seemed to realize that I actually ran out of some resources, so I had to go to some locations back and forth. Now, when it comes to doing these type of farms, I I honestly wish that it did it, but honestly, I'm glad I'm actually not doing it in a sense because it kind of gives me an idea of what I actually missed, what I have done and I completely forgot. Now, because sometimes when a quest does get released and a year or a couple of months later goes by, sometimes the quest does get updated or it does not, or something else gets updated, allows the farm to be a lot more tolerable. Now you will notice that I was farming the blinding fragments. I did the blind fragments and the overwhelming axe because I was farming Desolate, which allowed me to get the Dark Hole, and I was also trying to get the Desolate's skull. Now, although it's not something that is mandatory, it's kind of mandatory, but not now. It was something that is going to come up soon, so I kind of bite the bullet and just suck it up and try to do everything in one. So like two birds with one stone, so I don't have to go back to some of the maps. Although there were some things that I wished that I did more of when I was started it or continued the series. Now I did do Death's Ancient Doom Knight part because I also needed some parts of the Reaper, and I also needed the same for Desolate. Same thing for the Dracolich's heads. I needed some fragments because I used quite a bit of the Blinding Light fragments. Then I went to Extreme Noxus for these runes. And I was really surprised that this took me some time. I wasn't expecting it to take that long. Then I got the Necromorph, which cost me quite a bit of gold, and Sally's Necronomicon. I don't know why those things that be so expensive. And honestly, I actually not farming for gold at all. The gold I accumulate is from me just doing dailies and a lot of temple shrine. Yes. I'm lucky because the hollow remains actually sell for a lot. So I just let it accumulate over time. And I'm going to get to the point where I actually need the gold, actually sell it, and I realize, oh wait, actually you had just enough, or I just needed a little bit more. But luckily I was in position of needing gold, or kind of like a stalemate where I had to go back and forth. Now, after that, I focused on getting Gramiel's Divine Enoch, because I had these 6 weeks of Gramiel. So that will be the 30 insignias for Gramiel, and it's pretty much a free 51%. It's pretty much a quick farm. It took me what, an hour? Really, not that long. It's a 51% weapon. I think the hardest part was just trying to get the base weapon to actually start farming for the weapon and try to combine all the weapons. Other than that, I think this by far is the easiest to do for the 51 weapons, although the fastest will be the Great Blade, and the earliest you can get one is also the Exalted Apotheos. Now, when it comes to stream mode, I did focus on trying to do the boss method. There were some people doing it, and some people not. Some people were just doing normal method, some people were doing the Wyvern method. Although this method took me like almost 4 days, yes, it took me that long, I tried to do the boss. Then I soon too came to realization that the Wyverns were a lot better because the boss is not that viable. Although I did farm for it for the fragment for Archmage, luckily I did get it, so it's just less farm for me, and I'm just happy about it. Then I pretty much focused on farming for Dauntless. I needed Dauntless because I was getting tired of using Cav and my damage was just so slow. Although when it comes to Dauntless, there's a lot of other uses as well when it comes to farming. Like you can use Exalted Soul Cleaver in the sense that if you have a mob that has like 50k health, you can use Dauntless and Exalted Soul Cleaver just to two-shot it easily. No worries whatsoever. So I focused on that. I tried to get Dauntless. This took me some time. I was really surprised at how long this took me. The last 2 maps was very dreadful. Very tanky mobs. Very tanky bosses. So I kind of did those in Artrix pubs. I did most of my farms inside Swordhaven because Swordhaven is a lot more responsive and low populated server for me, so it's more easier for me to farm. Although when it comes to the last 2 farms, I had to farm Artrix because you're farming like 1.7 million HP bosses and you have to kill them 60 times. Are you going to solo that? Not me, because I have no classes that are able to solo that in a short period of time. Maybe I can chip it down with Chaos Avenger, but not quick sessions. Then I pretty much farmed for that. Then I obtained all the classes, the armors for Dauntless, and I did farm for the blade before I went to the Mana Cradle because the boss itself both have low drop rates, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't prepared to farm Mulgar himself for his blade at 1.7 million health. No thank you. So I farmed the Dragon Titan, which was like 100k health, which took some time, but it eventually dropped. Then I completed Dauntless, and now I got Dauntless. Then I wanted to do a Carnage Concerto. Then I realized I didn't enough gold. I needed roughly 50 million gold, and I was sitting at 26 million. So I pushed it aside and tried to do it for next week. So other than that, I wanted to do Archmage as well, but I also had some stalemates where I actually needed gold or I needed signatures. So it's one of those things I kind of had to suck it up and just focus on the farms that I really didn't want to do, but I did it because it was the extra badge. So I focused on the Celestials of Mysteries, although it still chewed my gold. I'm going to be a broke boy. um, although I focus on the Celestials of Mysteries, this farm was relatively quick. After I got Dauntless, this allowed me to farm like I kid you not, like 400% a lot faster. Dauntless made this a lot more easier and more accessible for farming high HP bosses. This farm particularly had a lot of high HP bosses and kind of had to deal with a lot of killing it multiple times, quite a bit, like 50, 30 times. So I suck it up and I did it. I had to use potions because some of the bosses had special abilities that were timer based. So I pretty much just rushed it with potions and did the Inferno Arena and just pretty much focused on getting the Celestial Mysteries done. I did not struggle doing this quest particularly. I did this in 3 hours time. The hardest part was me reconnecting to Artrix because I noticed there was a party doing Azalith, the Divine Vol edition version. So I tried to do that quickly, and other than that, I was lucky because normally there's never a pub there farming for the Divine Vol. So I make use of the opportunity of there being a pub and I obtained it. Boss was actually almost killed, so I had to really like put my gears in and go quick. But other than that, I got the Divine Vol and I focused on Azalith again. Now I had to go back to the map because I was room hopping to see if there was any pubs for the Celestial Pass for Azalith. And after that, I just finished the last two maps. Now the last two maps were relatively longer compared to other maps, but it's one of those things that you kind of have to farm like 5 times, 10 times to get the resources, and then eventually I kind of just sucked up and just got all the stuff done. Then I've bought the Archangel of Mysteries, the helmet as well, and the wings. Then I went back to accept the quest and farm for the final part of the quest. Now, this one took a little bit more time because there was more tankier mobs, like the Udane Day was a little more tankier, and the Avatar of Life was tankier as well. Then RNX, yeah, let's not talk about it. It was a annoying fight. Now, off to normal KO. Yes, it's your turn. Okay, so for those who are actually curious about my progress so far, I pretty much did all of this. Not a single low rank, except for Skyguard and U Mountains. Okay, so for U Mountains, I'm gonna wait for the story to finish, then I'll do the wrapping up. Because at the moment, the rep is kind of bad to rep up. So I kind of gonna wait for the story to do it on a rep boost day. Couple of days of it. Now, progress of everything else, I'm pretty much set for next week. Next week, I'm gonna be finishing Temple Shrine. It's like, I think next week Friday. And with Dage, I'm gonna be getting the Sins blade. So there'll be the Sin of the Underworld and the Sin of the Abyss. So I'll be needing the Dage and Norgath insignias for that. I have the Legion tokens. I did that on Monday during the Legion token boost. So getting the blades going quick. And yeah, I'm going to get Arcana's Concerto and Archmage. Now I wanted to do it this week instead, but then I realized I did not have enough gold. Yes, it kind of sucked. Then I didn't do Archmage because I ran out of insignias for the Exaltia Tower. So I kind of started doing that in a sense, and hopefully I'm going to be doing that this week. So I would say for next week is going to be rather important because they kind of set what for farming, because I do sometimes farm in the sense of using this class and with this setup. Now it is slow, man. It is slow. I need something that's fast. It does hit hard, don't get me wrong, but it's still kind of slow. So when I get Archmage, it's going to be relatively quick. And yeah, but yeah, next week is going to be important because I'm going to get 3 blades. Now, I do have the 2 Exalted Apotheosis, and also got Gramia's Divine Enoch, which is... The farm was relatively easy. It wasn't that hard. But yeah, I got these blades. Now, I will get Arcana's Concerto. I will not get an extra blade from that, but I'm going to get 3 extra blades. So I'm going to replace these two. Sorry. I think it's these 3 I'm going to replace because the blades I'm going to be using is going to be less. I'm not going to have all the Forge enhancements. I'm not all of the AE enhancements. So I think I'm going to be using 7 blades. So it's not going to be that crazy to say the least. But it's going to be something that I am going to be looking forward to. And it's not really at the same time, because farming for Necrotic Sword of Doom is going to be interesting because I ran out of the Necro Scroll Dark Arts. So yeah, that's going to be interesting farm. But that's going to be late on, like in a month's time. I'm quite far from getting my Void Aura completed. But other than that, next week is going to be the Great Blade of the Entwined Eclipse, the Sin of the Underworld, Sin of the Abyss, Arcana Concerto, and Archmage. It's a little bit less farm, but it's still a lot of farming. But I would say it's going to be less. But other than that, I'm slowing down, which I was actually hoping for. Then the week after Archmage, I'm going to be focusing on the Pirate Day seasons. Then start farming for the Hollowbolt Vindicator. And the Starlight of the Emperine. And if I'm really bored, touch Mass. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. But other than that, I think I'm pretty much set. I'm not really struggling that much. There's some days I do start late, and some days not really. But last week and this week has been busy. Next week is going to be slightly busy as well. But after that, it's going to be quiet, which I wanted because I'm kind of on break. So I have more time on hands, and yeah, eventually the series is going to go to the end, which honestly I don't know what's going to happen. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video so far. As always, feel free to like and subscribe, and yeah, as always, have a nice day. Cheers.